Hi, I'm Sophie.
Hi, I'm Paul. And we are
SP Film Viewers.
It's time for another Patreon pick. And one that I think that you'll very appreciate, as they were both sort of classic oldie type ones.
What are you trying to say, Paul?
That you've a certain maybe preference or you gravitate towards more of those kind of films, and they...
I'm an old soul.
Yeah.
Let's just say it. You just say it. Stop trying to skirt around the edges.
they're normally quite high on your list of things. So
yeah. Well, we'll see. It depends on what the Patreon, if they've done a good enough job.
yeah, well,
Maybe I'd prefer the other one that they'd have not picked.
Well, they're both films that feature Cary Grant.
Can you tell me if I've seen her in anything else, please?
Well, firstly, it's he.
Oh, he, she, who are Carrie. That sounds... What? Why confuse me? That's...
C-A, like Gary, but with a C instead.
I'm confused. He looks familiar. He does look familiar.
You've seen him in Charade, which was with Audrey Hepburn.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And...
The one where she eats the pastry. That's Breakfast at Tiffany's.
No, Breakfast at Tiffany's. I don't know if you've seen him in anything else. We haven't covered North by Northwest, which is like Alfred Hitchcock one.
No. Just look familiar, though.
Yeah.
It looks like one of those dashing lead, kind of strong, chiseled jawline.
If you remember from when we saw that Charade one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Still not the guy from the It's a Wonderful Life, I mean.
No, it's not Jimmy Stewart, no.
No.
But both of these have pretty high ratings anyway, but we're going with Bringing Up Baby.
So they're bringing up a baby?
Of sorts, yeah.
They've had a baby and now they're raising it?
Yeah, but it's not your ordinary baby.
It's like the cartoon like from Looney Tunes, it's like an old man and a baby.
No, this is all live action. So.
Don't put baby in a corner, there's so many.
Well, maybe the synopsis will give you a bit more of an indication. It reads, while trying to secure $1 million donation for his museum, a befuddled paleontologist is pursued by a flighty and often irritating heiress and her pet leopard, Baby.
Leopard being a pet?
That's what it says.
How do they do this?
Well, it's the 1930s.
It's an actual leopard?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Not CGI'd in, no?
No, would not have.
Well, I'm surprised it didn't eat somebody. And where did they get the leopard from, imagine?
Procuring it from a zoo or some, going to the...
Did they have zoos back then?
Yes, of course they did. So they had zoos back in, that's what, Victorian times. That was way before.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why do I just assume that zoos would be like, I don't know, transporting the animal, like, that must be a hard slog and people...
No, of course it was, yeah. But that's, the means of how people get to see exotic animals from other countries.
What climate are we in? Where is it based in America?
Yeah, because we're in America if it's talking about dollars.
What's she doing with a leopard? What?
I don't know, we'll have to see in the film, won't we?
She's not Jasmine, like, having a tiger. Like, that's fine because it's like in its normal habitat somewhat.
Well, not really. Normal habitat for a tiger is a palace, isn't it?
No, but the actual place that they're in is more like the climate for that species. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Probably animal cruelty. I don't know. Maybe we should have gone with...
Well, that's, that's what the patrons have gone with, so...
Probably I'll like it.
Yeah. So,
is it all in black and white?
Yeah. I think...
We're going to need subtitles.
Why?
Just because of the way they talk.
You think?
Yeah.
All really fast?
Yeah, and if it's got like a New York accent, I don't know why I'm assuming it's in New York. Everything normally is.
I don't know where it's based. Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. So I obviously don't know anything much or more about this either, so where the plot goes and where the leopard comes in. We'll yet to see, but should be interesting.
We'll trust his Patreons for now.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back very shortly with our thoughts.
Oh, you're all right.
Yes, I'm all right.
You lied to me.
No, well, I did just
Telling me
a
a
little bit.
ridiculous story
No, it
about a
wasn't
leopard.
ridiculous story. I have a leopard.
Well, where is the
right
leopard?
in there.
I don't believe you, Susan.
But you have to believe me. It's
I've
the
been a
absolute
victim of
truth.
your unbridled imagination once more. All the way talking about...
That'll teach you to go around saying things about people.
Jeepers, let's get out of here.
It's like because there's a baby around.
No. There's a funny scene in the film. We're back, obviously, from having seen Bringing Up Baby.
I really like the title. I feel like it's definitely an old school title.
Yeah, definitely. And with researching, obviously, like looking at the poster art for the thumbnail and stuff. Obviously, of that period, there were so many different like iterations of just one poster as opposed to what you see nowadays, where it's kind of like almost the same kind of uniform style of... For one, for the film and its advertising, it's pretty much as consistent throughout wherever it's marketed in different countries. Whereas I feel like back then, it's the poster was like someone commissioned in a different country to do their interpretation of what the film is or something.
And I think maybe as well with the film industry being a bit different back then. I think obviously now they can churn a lot more films out on a quicker pace, whereas back then in that time.
I don't know, actually. I feel like more the opposite. There seemed like a lot they could do sort of a bit quicker and roll out, whereas a lot of things, especially CGI-heavy films, take a lot more in production these days. And
yeah, but I feel like we always have a lot of film there. That's what I mean, like your options are vast in what we've got.
Right, yeah, in terms of genres and stuff, whereas of the type, like this.
Of the time of this was like probably one of the films that came out within them, like that month.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So they were going to publicise it, and whereas nowadays it's like, oh, well, within a month of everyone seeing it, that one's kind of lost off the radar.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. But this one, I like the how it's determined, it's categorised as what it was, I don't know if it was at the time, but called a screwball comedy. So a bit like a wacky all over the place type of... Rather than just like a comedy film, like what we'd a standard like Adam Sandler one or Ben Stiller one these days.
Why screwball?
I mean, just manic and like in how it's like all the silliness and wacky antics sort of thing. But
the ice cream.
Right. Okay.
When you say screwball, the one with the bubble gum in the bottom.
Yeah, and the swirl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like just.
There's a game, isn't there, as well of screwball? I think there's this thing.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Or it's called something else. Old-fashioned screwball.
But anyways, the point is obviously the fact that the genre of it's categorized as, and rightly so for what the film is. It's kind of is a sort of bit all over the place in parts, but it's kind of endearing how it's the comedy comes across. As I think they had something back in the day where it's a bit more charming and
100%. It's like a Charlie Chaplin. That's how it feels. And I know we keep saying, and I refer back to it, and I've only seen like certain parts.
Yeah.
But it's like this could be a silent film with the way that they're moving a little bit, like with we're putting his clothes and we're going to take it to the laundrette and, kind of.
But obviously the
dialogue is brilliant.
Helps that along to emphasise that kind of like, oh, what do you mean?
Yeah. But it could still have its own way of being...
Yeah, interpreted in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I love about old films is, your dialogue is on point.
It's all you have to work with. That's not saying it in a bad way. I'm just...
No, and it's brilliant. And I think, for me, it definitely keeps me on my toes. It keeps me intrigued. They're so funny with the humour with it.
Yeah.
And the visuals aren't obviously, like, perfection, but at the same time, you've got different sets, you've got different locations. Yes, you've definitely got a studio environment on some of them, and you can tell, but it doesn't spoil
No, it doesn't, no.
Spoil it. I think the only thing for me is how they've got the leopard so friendly. That's my little bit of... Have they drugged it?
No, I don't think so. I did a very brief look into how that was kind of kept so calm and tranquil in a sense. Our lead lady, Susan, played by Katharine Hepburn, she had a special perfume she had to wear that kind of the leopard was kind of almost a calming sense for him, a preferred perfume. I don't know how they would know that, but that was something that, again, so when she was interacting with him, that's probably why rubbing up against, that kind of sense. Yeah, so the things like that, I think, and
make sure it's fed.
Yeah, and I don't think there was, I can't say obviously without delving too deep with things, but there'll been methods of
so somewhat drugged in a sense, but catnip's kind of
yeah, and I think that's why obviously in short bursts there isn't a great deal of him. It's only in certain scenes.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if that was, it would be a bit cruel in that sense to have the leopard involved the whole time.
Yeah, when you said it was about a leopard, I'm thinking, oh, is this going to be a real leopard? Is it going to be
it's
a puppet or some form of animatronics or something? I don't know, but no, it was actually a real life leopard. So it was oh wow, and that makes you really want to have a leopard at home because we love cats. We are cat people. Well, you definitely are more of a cat person than a dog. I'm happy with either, I really am. But I've always grown up with cats, and I don't know, this is just a giant cat.
He's pretty big, but he's only
like a dog size.
At the same time, they say he's 3 years old, and yeah, you can sort of tell he's a young, almost probably not a cub, but a little bit bigger than that.
It's having a dog, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a dog version of a cat.
Yeah, a large cat.
Which just sounds amazing. You could take it on walks and everything like that. I'd be well made up. And I think because it was tamed in a certain capacity, the purring, the playfulness of chewing your socks and stuff like that, and the way that they made Baby.
Yeah, and listening to the record player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just really, really cute the way that they did things. And I think it kind of made you think David was, bless him, at the beginning, going into this toxic relationship because it was just work orientated. It was we won't have time for a honeymoon. We won't have time to have fun. Basically, this is a business deal in the fact that she's going to marry him.
Yeah, David, who's played by Cary Grant.
Don't know who he is. I do. We Googled him. But he's not as dashing in this one, to be fair. I think it's because...
Is it because he had his glasses on?
Maybe. Susan says that. Yeah. You're so much handsomer without your glasses on. But Susan makes it for me in this.
Yeah, she's obviously the synopsis described her as flighty. I mean, just all sporadic and just all over.
She kind of reminds me a little bit of me with that, but more in a conversation I can be very flighty. 1 minute I'm talking about something and then, well, I'm sure the listeners...
No, by now, yeah.
You can definitely understand where I'm saying this. And the fact that I'm aware of it, I guess, is a good thing. But I know that I can be my brain is a scatterbrain and I'll think of something and I have to say it once it's in my head. Otherwise I'll forget. But she's weirdly annoying, but charming.
Yeah, and
you have to love her for it. You can't hate her for it. And she's very clumsy.
Yeah, with her klutz.
But she doesn't mean to, and she's so apologetic when something does happen. Some of them she does play on her dits, and she just tried, but that's because she really likes David.
Yeah, she's doing what she wants, and she's trying to get it, so...
Fair play to her, to be fair, because the other relationship wasn't going to be work. Not saying it's the right way of going about things, but...
To her, it's... Obviously, it's for storyline purposes that had to be the case anyway, but she's written that way, but... In terms of, other film, I haven't seen Katharine Hepburn in any other films that I can remember, so I don't know if this is one of her comedy outings and she's played more serious roles, I suppose.
Is she related to Audrey Hepburn?
I don't think they are, actually. Obviously, the surname may suggest that...
Yeah, because it's not really a common last name, is it?
No.
I don't know any of the Hepburns, to be honest. No. I just wondered. But I really like her as a lead in this. I think I haven't seen, like you said, in any other films, but this comedy style and the way she acts.
And her little quirky little laugh.
Yeah, she's a good actress. She really is, and I think she makes this film. Without her, this wouldn't.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I mean. The comedy element has to run mostly through her. That she sets up the gags because David's the one who's kind of like having to go along with this whole situation he's been roped into, and he's begrudgingly going on a little bit, but at the same time
smitten by her because he wouldn't fall into this trap of caring and wanting to do it for her.
Well, he even says that as well. Then it's like, oh yeah, I do those quiet moments, even though there aren't many quiet moments. But he's somehow drawn to her in a sense, probably because it's sort of like an excitement for him that he's not really got in his current relationship.
Yeah, or even in his career possibly as well. Like I know he's a paleontologist, so straight away I go to Ross from Friends. And obviously Ross goes for Rachel, who's completely the opposite.
Opposites attract.
Yeah. And I think this is kind of the early Friends with...
Right, making that connection.
Yeah. I feel like I don't talk enough about Friends as a TV series, to be fair, so I feel like...
What's there to say about it as such?
You've made me a bit on the spot there, Paul, but I feel like it's a very good series and I feel like I should be able to intertwine it with things. But yeah, I feel like I know a lot of Friends catchphrases that are just not used.
Okay.
So there's many things where she tries to kind of get him into her web. I think from the golf course, from the offset, where she sees him clearly and she's using his ball, she's already liked him from afar. Mm-hmm. And she knows what she's doing to kind of try and wind him up. Like, oh, yes, this is my ball. Well, it's only a game. And obviously he's got a really important client kind of golf meeting.
He's trying to get in big with
Peabody.
Mr. Peabody, yeah. For this
what a name.
Now I think of, there's a cartoon character called something Peabody. He's like a, Mr. Peabody, he's like a dog or something. It's like a scientific thing. But...
I'm thinking the brain, I don't know
why. No, it's nothing like that, no.
No, I just feel like pee and then body. That's literally all I think when I hear it. Like you pee in your body. I don't know, pee body.
Right. But it's spelt pee like a little garden pea.
Yeah, still. Well, I didn't know. I looked how it's spelt. So pedantic.
But the whole thing with the car situation where she's like, oh, this is my car. No, it's your. No, is this your car type of thing? Like, but I don't understand how that works. Like, do you not have a set of keys for?
Unless they were so like trusting back then that they just left the keys in the ignition. Like,
I think maybe they did, yeah.
Because they didn't really think people would do that. Like that would be like a big no-no nowadays. Yeah. Jesus.
Well, essentially, you kind of
take me.
Just hop in the thing. It's like open top cars, aren't they?
Yeah.
Most of the time, yeah. But so she's like scraping against his car against that other car that she thinks is not hers. Well,
and I think it kind of shows a monetary kind of thing. So she comes from quite a wealthy background. Yeah. Her aunt is very rich, and you can tell with the way that she treats property of things that money isn't an issue for her. Like, obviously, you scraping your car, you'd be like,
well, anybody would not be best pleased, would they, if that was happening?
Unless it's not their car, and then they're not bothered.
No, I know what you mean, but
still, even then, she's annoying, but she's pleasantly polite about it.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, I can't stay mad at you type of thing, despite the whole situation and stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's why she's quite sweet at the same time. Even though she knows full well that she's acting like she's dumb, but she knows what she's doing. And she knows what she wants, and she really likes David. And she's out to get him. Even though, to be fair, I think she grates on him, so this plan could really backfire on her. If...
pushes it too far.
Yeah. Pushing his buttons the wrong way, right. Possibly.
Yeah. But like the scene I was like quoting earlier, that one of the good scenes is the whole throw pebbles at the window. People think it's hailing. That's how to get attention to Mr. Peabody. So, well, he's not coming out, so I'll just get a bigger rock. And then, of course, he opens the window and clunks him. Just like that comical, like, like a cartoon.
Like he's passed out.
Yeah.
And then they run off.
It's a good aim, though, for something that was fairly pretty big.
She's so dinky as well, like, in her appearance.
Yeah, her form, yeah.
But the clothes she wears as well, and some of the outfits are just like, oh gosh, they're so pretty. And the shoes.
Yeah, you picked up on that, didn't you?
Yeah, she's so beautiful, and she's got a tiny, tiny, tiny waist.
Yeah, that's what most of the stars were back then as well, like stick thin, almost.
Makes you wonder what happened to us, don't you? Because like back in those times, like unless it was rations because of wars and such, or just more active because they didn't have everything at a click of a button.
Well, I went sitting in the lounge watching Netflix or
playing or dancing games.
Yeah, that's how their entertainment was going. Although you could say that obviously we're drinking stuff, but that's, they're going to the bars and stuff. That was their entertainment, going to the speakeasies and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I guess if you're dancing, you're moving, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just sat on your bottom. So when Susan's got baby, and actually she seems perfectly fine, just wants David to come along for the ride, really, I think, for a bit of help. But I think she's thinking, this is kind of like a good connection. He's a paleontologist.
Like a road trip type of thing to get him to go transport to my aunt's house.
Also to delay him getting married.
Yeah.
Because it is the day of his wedding when he's transporting this leopard. And you get to a point where you're thinking, what time is this wedding? Like,
it was supposed to be the afternoon, but clearly it goes on into the evening. So
yeah, but it's meant to be a ceremony, isn't there? And meant to be a marriage. You just thought. And
it was another obviously good play on her to like, right, bring him into the situation. So like, I'll pretend that the leopard's attacking me, and so he's like, oh, hello, Susan, sorry, I'm coming over to the.
And that's just so comical the way she's doing, like going against the radiator with the phone and then going
and knocking stuff over.
Yeah. And normally humour like that really grates on me, but this is just before it's over exaggerating. And it's just right on the nose, and it's like, it's perfect. It's not extreme. It is funny, and it
doesn't linger too much on that. Yeah.
No, but that's what's good for me, and I think that's surprising, and I think maybe this is why I am an old soul, that I like this kind of film. You were right, and thank you Patreons for picking it. It's really is just.
It's entertaining, yeah.
But it's easy. It's so easy breezy. It's not predictable, but you kind of know where it's going to lead.
Yeah. They're typical, like, they're going to get together at the end,
but how?
But you enjoy the journey because, like, how do you get to that and know all the antics, and where does the leopard come into it? How much is it involved? All that kind of stuff, and there's also a little dog called George,
which we have a little Georgie. I think Mum wanted Georgie to be that kind of type of dog, like a West Island kind of.
All right.
Dog, but then we got Jack Russell given, so we took what we got given. But yeah, she's always wanted a West Island Terrier until she realised how mucky they'd get.
Because of white.
Yeah. Even though George is white, bless him, but he's just got flecks of ginger in him. But no, it kind of gets to a bit of a comedy act, especially when the bone comes into
play, yeah.
Because it's a dinosaur bone.
Brontosaurus, yeah.
What type of dinosaur is that, Paul?
The long neck ones.
Herbivore, if
that's what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. There's the one in Jurassic Park.
There's Brachiosaurus.
Does that one have a long neck too?
Yes. Sorry, hang on, what? Are you winding me up here? You know what the Brachiosaurus is, right? Okay, that's just making sure. You know what you like, forgetting things sometimes. Like you didn't know who Cary Grant was.
Well, I didn't know it was a he.
That's what I mean.
I knew the name. Sometimes I'm like that though. It's like I know the name, can't put the face to the name.
But yeah, with George, it's the whole escapade with the finding the buried bone, because that's what dogs like to do. They bury stuff in the ground.
Well, if you've got a normal dog, they do, yeah. And obviously he seems to bury a lot of boots and a lot of everything, but it's quite intelligent, the dog, because Susan's saying, Georgie, go show us where you kind of buried it. And then digs another hole. And this is when the aunt's like, what the hell are you doing to my garden?
Yeah.
Why is all these holes being dug up? And I think David doesn't really give a first good impression. And it turns out that her aunt is the one that's giving the grant out for the $1 million or...
Yeah. She's sort of like knows the Mr. Peabody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
He's a lawyer, isn't he?
Or something like that, yeah. Yeah.
So basically, she doesn't want to end up giving the grant out in the end to him because Susan paints a right picture. He's called Mr. Bone. He's having a mental breakdown. He's a hunter. And his first encounter was in her dressing gown.
Oh, yeah, it was like, oh, I'm feeling a bit gay.
Yeah.
It just kind of surprised me that was like a term that was
still then.
Even obviously like for the late 30s as well.
Well, I don't know, because gay used to mean happy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But at that point, would it just mean that as opposed to... Because I think
I'm not sure.
being homosexual at that point, I feel, was like, can't be...
Yeah.
Coming out as that. Yeah.
A bit more taboo.
But interesting, that term, I guess. But funny at the same time because it's like, it caught me by surprise.
Yeah. And we took it obviously as what gay would mean more now than happy. I think if somebody said happy, I'm gay, I think there would be a bit of level of confusion if you meant happy. And we spend quite a lot of time then at the ants, don't we, where we're seeing the leopard escapes because we've got the gardener letting it out because he has like a drinking pot.
The Irish gardener, it's like there's a stereotype right there. With a little
shame it's not St. Paddy's Day and then he'd have several. He was a funny character though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because he's getting annoyed with David every 2 minutes going up and out and following George. And he's like, why can't he just sit and eat his meal? And I think that's the reason why he ended up going and get the drink. Because he was getting sick of David going in and out, in and out, in and out.
Oh no, I think that was somebody else.
Oh, was that another gardener?
No, the gardener was the one. Well, I sort of had the Irish accent, but he had like the hat on. He had like the moustache and a little more. Cause that's the clothes he had to borrow because the other guy was Horace Applegate, the one who I believe he was the one. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, the one who was like, that's what the sound of a leopard with the loon sound, the call. I think.
Right.
If I remember rightly. So he was
Peabody.
Doing...
Oh no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Peabody, was it?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Got you.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, the gardener was getting annoyed with David coming in and out.
Yeah, no, I think he still was, but he was. Yeah,
bottles
dotted around.
He was sat outside looking like, why is he going back out again? Mm-hmm. And so obviously the people at the table were as well. Because obviously it's rude manners.
Yeah.
Don't think he actually ate anything of that evening. No. He was too busy about hoping the bone had come back.
Yeah. They keep doing that. It's like, it's let it go. You are like a dog with a bone on that one.
Yeah.
And also throw into the mix as well the fact that there's the escaped leopard from a circus carnival as well that had been locked up in a cage. So they're thinking, there's the leopard, so we'll just let it loose. And obviously, that one's not tamed. It's a bit more savage and.
Well, yeah, wouldn't you be if you were in a circus and you've been probed all your life? You would be a bit more aggressive if you'd been let free.
That's more the nature of a wild cat. So, yeah. And
as well, I think it works quite well because they did ring the zoo to come and capture the leopard, and they know, like, oh no, actually it's meant to be for his auntie, not knowing the whole entire time that the auntie knew her leopard was on its way. Mm-hmm. So that the whole thing could have been resolved a lot easier if this hadn't have been the case.
Because it was from her brother, wasn't it?
Yeah, from Susan's brother. Yeah,
who's shipped from Brazil and everything. Yeah, so I think she just thought it was her own, but it was actually meant for her aunt in the end.
Yeah. So you've got some funny scenes where they're like running around trying to find this leopard. Obviously, Susan and David are saying it's like a friendly leopard, and so is the gardener. And then you've got the other guys like encountering the bad leopard.
The Applegate guy, yeah. He's like, well, that's, didn't react when with me in that way, that calm manner. But he's like, because the gardener's like, no, this is fairly friendly. And it's like, okay, approach, and it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, that'd be you. That would be. And then obviously with the leopard being on the house, and they're trying to sing. What was the song they're singing?
Can't give you anything but love,
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was quite cute because like stood together singing.
Yeah.
But literally they're outside somebody's house who's trying to sleep.
Yeah.
And yet again, another comedy value to it. Mm-hmm. Thinking that basically she's lost.
It's the plot, the marbles, throw you in the slammer.
Yeah, she's like, I've not lost my head, I've lost my leopard. I just really liked that line. It was just like quite funny. I think everything she said was honest and innocent, and I think that's what made you love her even more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's that kind of like endearing quality to her, just like her innocence of how she is perceived, but she didn't mean anything by it. Yeah, even what she says. Do
you think I've got a bit of innocence perceived by me? Is that what it is?
Well, A little bit. There was, I kind of looked over to you at one point when she was like kind of following David around like very close and thinking, yeah, it's kind of familiar.
Not only if I want a huggies and I'm like shuffling around like, excuse me, Paul. There's another time when she said something and she straight away looked over to me as well, and I was like, oh, I can tell that you're thinking this character's me.
In some aspects, yeah.
Don't know if that's a compliment.
No, is kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm taking.
But I know obviously you know by now that obviously if I'm just going like just like a I know you're not going to take it offensively in that sense. It's we're on the level of what I'm on about.
Yeah. I knew what you meant when
yeah.
you saw it. I did.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, because I was laughing because it seemed very familiar. Halfway through though, like, are you thinking, are you going to get married yet? Are you not thinking, I'm going to get married? Like, I'm meant to be at an altar now. Like, initially, his sense of urgency is there, but, like, as the night goes on...
Yeah, it's almost like, that does kind of, like, dwindle a little bit after this point.
Like, giving up, I guess.
I don't know if it's... I'm trying to think, it was around the time when initially it was like, what's Susan's character doing with the phone thing? Like, the ding, the time is now...
Know.
I think it's to make it like we can't connect your call right now type of thing. I think after a while, it's like, oh, right, because that's why the ding's like, it's like this is not in service. So so she was on the other line of the phone while David was talking to his fiancée. And so it was kind of like a thing to pause on that. So it's like, don't worry about it. Like, there's just no connection to pause.
I see.
Even
though she's talking, trying to get somebody through the window gate.
Yeah.
While she's doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, that's kind of funny, but yeah, once I twigged onto what she was trying to do there.
She's not daft, is she?
Yeah, so it's quite clever. Yeah, but trying to be an automated system.
Don't know if I'd go to that length for you, I'm not sure. I'd probably not be that desperate. Not to say that I don't love you, but I just think, well, if you want somebody else, I'm not going to force you to be with me.
But despite all the innocence and stuff, and so she's manipulative in a good way of when she's obviously the whole police get involved and stuff, and they're all half the family are in the slammer and stuff, and so they're referring to when there's obviously they said the word leopard being thrown around all night. This police guy's like, I'm getting if you mention leopard one more time type of thing, and so she brings Aaron to say like, oh, we're part of the leopard gang. She puts on like a typical New York accent. See,
she's really good.
So
I think she surprised everybody. David's looking like, huh?
Well, I suppose he's not not used to the whole kookiness really by now.
Like you do really good accents. They always surprise me, even when I know you can do them, because I don't A, anticipate when you're going to do them, and B, I can't do them very well. So when you do them, it's still like.
Well, it's from watching a lot of movies, really, and just picking up on.
Watching too many movies. Huh?
Yeah, but she works her way around that and sort of like clearing the air and things, I think.
Yeah, well, she's quite clever because she's like, I won't talk unless I have a smoke. And then she's like, can we get some fresh air in here? Yeah. And like, she's already
out the window,
thinking about how she's escaping. She's already been planned it all out. And like, I've told you the truth the entire time, that's not working, so I'm just going to lie to you now and see if that works. That's literally her plan. And I think reason. She's quite headstrong for a character within this era, which I quite appreciate as well. She's like...
Yeah, putting the run around on the men.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. There was this, like, I thought there was going to be like in the scene in the jail cells where David gets out of his door's open on the cell door.
He's so innocent, isn't he? And annoying.
It's like, oh, I can get out. I thought he was going to like lead the policeman into the cell. It's like, have a talk in here, and then like close the door on him. And thought that, but now it doesn't happen. It's kind of like, no, wait a minute, hang on.
And then he's like, you still haven't locked it as well. At one point, he's like, why are you saying that?
I know.
I mean, you could have been free. You could have gone to get married. Like, you forgot about that.
Yeah. But I think he's in too deep at that point, really. But yeah, it all gets cleared in the end, pretty much, with that and all the things like that. But
I think there's one point when they're going around before they get into jail as well, where it's like a little bit like a Carry On kind of film, and they fall down the hill and then start laughing, and then he's like, right, you go home, Susan. You know, like, I don't want you here anymore. Like, you know, it's not safe. And then she's like, cries because like, what, you don't want me here? Okay, I understand. And she's manipulative, but I think every woman is. We're not daft. And she kind of knows what she'll say to what she'll get back if she says that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she kind of ends up getting to stay. There's a bit with the lake as well. Where it's like, oh, is this deep, do you think? And she's like, oh, no,
it's pretty shallow. And
we can walk through. Yeah. And then he loses his glasses and...
all that kind of stuff, like, typical, like, comedy stylings that you'd have,
But it's perfect. Like, if that was, like, done with Adam Sandler and whatever, then I'd hate it.
Yeah.
Because it'd be more exaggerated, it'd be more splashing, there'd be more...
yeah, over-the-top nature to it, yeah. Yeah, even obviously, like, the very, very end... when David, like, professes his love to Susan, when she comes in to see him at the museum, and everything, and even with the whole, like, oh, the dinosaur gets, how many years of work gets destroyed, and it's like, oh.
But then, bless him, David's not distraught over the dinosaur, he more cares about Susan, and he's grabbing her up in one arm.
Yeah.
But I do think it's funny when they're talking, and she's on the ladder, and she's rocking, and she's like, oh, and he's like, stop rocking, Susan, and she's like, I thought that was you.
Because she's so excitable, like a child. That she's like, oh, happy, you know. He does love her and everything, but...
and that's like me, and it kind of reminds me of a dog wagging its tail.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. So another dog and cat type of thing. I guess there's that, I suppose the chase the whole way through of that. The dog chasing a cat, or maybe the other way around, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's lovely, and it's really, even when the whole dinosaur gets wrecked, you're still not bothered because you're happy that David and Susan are actually together and their thing.
Yeah. And that's, your typical, like, oh, you type of ending, and that's, endearing. Like, that's I know I use that word quite a lot, but that's how it is, really.
They wouldn't expect anything else from Susan, and I think David is happier with that relationship because she keeps him on his toes. She's opposites attract, and they are different. Whereas his first original partner was...
like, the chemistry between the two of them is great, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps you invested, like it should do in a comedy, really. It shouldn't get to a point where... like, obviously, yes, you said that she's slightly irritating, but it's...
Thanks, Paul.
But not like it, like say, like in a comedy of these days, you're thinking, oh, just go.
She's slightly irritating, but she reminds me of my wife.
I didn't say that. Putting words in my mouth there.
You said she reminded me of you and certain things.
Yeah.
So you're saying I'm irritating, and that's how a woman does it. You see the manipulation there of twisting your words to make you think he'd said something you hadn't.
Very good at that.
I think every woman is. Look at you now, you don't know what to say.
Well, the only thing I've got left to say, really, other than before we go to the scores, is it is kind of annoying that our first watch of this, yeah. I mean, you can sort of agree with me on a certain level, surely.
100%. 100%.
The quality that we watched it in, though, it's free on BBC iPlayer, but I think that, I say, the fact that it's free and it's like, God knows what quality copy that is, probably like a DVD rip or something.
Yeah.
Because it was the background noise was so, like, crackly and noisy, and obviously,
like somebody was rumbling Chris Packett the entire time through the
and
cinema.
certain parts, like, so that took me out of it a little bit. And obviously, I know you said about, like, should have had subtitles. How did you cope?
I was not too bad, actually.
But obviously, she was talking, like, at a rate of knots, to be fair.
And I realised when I do the same. I heard you editing our podcasts the other day, and I went, am I on, like, 4 times speed there, and Paul's like, no, that's literally just you talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
Getting
Jesus.
a point across, yeah.
I get very passionate, and then I'm just like, blah, 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 blah.
But it's getting as many syllables as she can sometimes. Susan is not you.
I thought you meant me.
No. The character, sometimes like, whoa, slow down, because I don't even know what. If you put the subtitles on, I didn't even bother to try them on the iPlayer, but what they would actually come up with is like...
It was quite funny because there was one scene where there were like 3 women talking, and Paul has this a lot, obviously, because like I've got my mum, me, and my sister. So like when they're over, and there was a lot of talking, Paul cannot get a word in edgeways. And I think
that's another point. Yeah. Because he's there going, pointing, he's like raising his fingers like, oh, no, I won't say anything at this point. But then I try and jump in now, and no, never mind. I did kind of relate to that in that sense.
And I kind of always go to you, what have you got to say, Paul? So then you can try and get into the conversation.
Before I forget.
Yeah. Or the topic has passed.
Yeah. So, with those bits in mind, it was like, I think I kind of wish I did have the Criterion disc, but
hint, birthday's coming soon.
Well, I say good. I'm trying to find it because, like, for a typical all the things that I like. Oh, I'd really like that thing, and now suddenly it's now.
You need to jump on it, then, don't you? Like,
this is what I try to do. Sometimes it's like you can never know, like, predict like what's going to go out of, like, not necessarily print, but like come like gold dust for some obscure reason.
But then you're not going to know when you bought it if it is gold dust because you're not trying to buy it.
I know that's the thing, but
so
obviously,
probably everything
you're
you
trying.
buy.
So in the way you're trying to influence me to look, I'll just buy everything at any point, just because you never know what's not going to go out.
Don't take it that way.
That's what I'm making it sound like. So yeah. So I think obviously however I can get across to finding that disc, then it would obviously be in a lot higher presentation from the things.
Criterion.
Yeah, and it probably will be. I don't know whether it be the same square format or full screen or whatever.
I'd hope it'd be full screen.
Surely wouldn't have the crackly. They'll be cleaned up.
And the black and white to be more
look a bit
sharper.
Yeah. Because that was another thing. But anyway, I won't let that sour the score too much. But
you shouldn't, because
no, because it's the content at the end of the day. But it's just yeah. So
just because you've got high standards.
Yeah, no, but obviously, like, if you want to see the options of the best quality available, I try my best to source that in most cases.
But you got a free version.
Yeah,
get what you pay for.
Yeah. I suppose. But, yeah.
So it's over to you. You are scoring first because we both hadn't seen this. So I'll sit here and wait. So what is your score, Mr.?
So I'm going to go, despite what I said, obviously, I won't take into account the whole quality of the viewing and stuff, with the sound and visuals, that is. So the fact I would like to see it again, which is a good sign of things, and this is a light-hearted viewing anyway, it's easy to enjoy and stuff, and so like the comedy stylings and what it's going for is akin to what I like. I would put it at 8.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh. Don't say why.
Well, I kind of just did.
Okay.
In a brief way, you know.
Not like me, like, the reason why I'm going to reiterate everything I've just said in the podcast. So, mine's a little bit higher.
Okay.
Only by 0.5, so
right, okay.
It's a 9.
Yeah.
I would definitely watch it again. It's one of those, I feel like if you were poorly and you didn't feel 100%.
So something to perk your mood up, yeah.
Yeah, you could just put it on and it'd make you feel better. I feel like it's one of those things where, you know, like your mum would look after you and you'd have a blanket and soup and it's like, I'd have that on.
Yeah, comfort film, yeah. In a sense, yeah.
And I think that's just kind of, it makes you happy, and I think that's what I want in a film. I want to feel like that, and it was a little romance within it.
Mm-hmm.
Had a cute leopard. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it would be nicer in a better quality, but I would still rewatch it in that format if I didn't have it.
Yeah, no.
Obviously.
Okay. Guess you can, you technically, until they remove it, you've got it for however long you want to see it. And I think it's... But,
I'd rather watch it again and not have it, if that makes sense, in that format, if that makes...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but no, I definitely anyone do go watch it. Yeah, the hissing's a bit annoying, but if you can get hold of a Criterion version, then by all means, do.
Yep.
If you're interested. It's really fun and just lovely.
Yep.
So thank you, everyone, for voting for it. I still want to see the other option too, to be fair. Even if we don't do a podcast on it, I still want to see it.
No, I think we obviously we can just watch it in our own time, really. Yeah. Just give just a post about it and say, like, oh, this is what we thought. Do you have to be a whole recording about it?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, I do appreciate the opportunity to obviously go out the way somewhat to watch Bringing Up Baby anyway, because, like, something I wanted to see, but
I don't know how you find these to, like, figure out. I never knew about it, so this is the first time I've ever heard of it. At the same time, I'm grateful because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, discovering a classic. And, like I say, like, some of these things that they get put on these discs, obviously, because that keeps them alive a little bit longer, and obviously circulating that way through the thing, so it's not like, lost forever type of thing.
In the urethra.
Yeah.
You're very, very outdated with your discs out. You love having something a copy of.
What do you mean
more
outdated?
old-fashioned in that sense, I guess. Not outdated, but more just... You want something physical instead of it just disappearing. You want something
Yeah. Because you never know how long things are going to last on a streaming service. They can just take them down the next day, and that'd be that.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And then you're annoyed, like, oh, I was waiting to watch that, and then now they've just removed it.
Yeah.
And now, or it source it from, and then 2 weeks later, I said, oh, I'm just joking, we'll put it back on there now. Like, Amazon's quite bad for that. Like, you get Prime for free, and then suddenly, oh, no, you have to rent it. And then they'll change their minds.
I bet it's because they know you're clicking on it.
Maybe. Well,
not daft.
So I don't know how they work.
Well,
it's a bit like, again, like with Amazon stuff, like some of the discs go on the watch list, and then they're not in stock, or they're really high price, and then suddenly they're back in on the list. Yeah.
Stop wanting so much, mister.
So thank you very much for listening to this episode. And if you would like to check out some of our other episodes, you can do so by going to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you get your podcasts from. And if you would like to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, and wherever else they do the scoring system, that would also be very much appreciated.
And if you haven't already liked, followed, subscribed, all that jazz, to any of our social media platforms, then we are on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. You can follow us under the handle SP_filmviewers and hit those follow buttons and likes and hearts and all that jazz.
And from that, you may have seen or may not have seen, depending if you do follow us or not, the fact that I had hosted a movie night, bad movie night, when Sophie was away down Liverpool.
I escaped.
Yeah, watching The Room with some people who hadn't seen it before, so that was an experience for them.
I feel like maybe they might have made it a bit more tolerable, but to be fair, I despise The Room as it is. I don't need to watch it again. I've watched it
previous
once.
episode.
Don't need to see it again. And when you all go, oh, hi, Mark, or whatever you do to me, and what you just did in the kitchen, like, we could divorce each other. Or there's completely a turn-off button anyways.
Yeah. Which kind of rolls around to the fact that we've got Patreons, and one of our Patreons, I'll say his name now, is our friend Jonesy, who's quite excited to obviously have us watch The Room as a group.
Oh, was he? I'm glad.
Yeah. And he is under the handle @WeightLossJonesy.
He is, so go give him all your love and follow him. We've also got something lined up in the near future.
With him as a guest, yeah. And so our other Patreons that we have are Mark from 100 Things You Learn from Film, Ben from Film Vloggers, your mum, obviously, and Nico from the Good, Bad and the Weird podcast. And we've given them a shout out, and you can get a shout out too, and also vote on a film once a month, like we just had for this one, by going to patreon.com/SPFilmviewers, and all you have to do is pay £1 or $1.50 a month, And that gets you all those little perks and helps grow our little Patreon family community.
Yeah, imagine if you get more patrons, Paul, how many you have to read out.
Yeah.
We have the podcast. No.
Your own time, yeah.
Yeah, like the naughty or nice list from Santa Claus.
Yeah, so that'd be very much appreciated. But yeah, that's everything. This episode.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. So thank you, patrons, yet again. We have got a good little Patreon community.
So thank you very much for listening once again, and we will speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.